We all know Donald Trump is a very stable genius. He's got the best memory in the world. He's very, very smart. He even aced a cognitive test, which is very, very impressive, guys. Very impressive. Because I hear there's some very hard questions, especially the last 5 questions on that test. So now he goes on Sean Hannity's show on Fox News to talk about how you need to be Trump smart to be president, or else some bad things will happen.
You have to be very sharp. I'm dealing with the heads of these countries, and every one of them is a world-class chess player. And if you're not 100% on your game, if you're not 100% sharp plus, you got a
problem. Sharp. Chess. Oh, right. So great advice from the president, obviously. World politics and domestic politics, very difficult, especially when you have emergencies. I mean, could you imagine what it'd be like if, for example, there was a deadly pandemic that's going around happening in the country with a leader that isn't very smart or a very, stable genius?
The U.S. has now reached more than 4 million confirmed cases of coronavirus. We had just hit 3 million 15 days ago.
More than 140,000 Americans dead.
Hospitals in Florida are reeling from the pandemic as the state continuously reports more than 10,000 new cases per day. Nearly 9,400 people are hospitalized across the state. And in Miami-Dade County, intensive care units overtaxed at 130% capacity.
It took 99 days to reach to 1 million confirmed cases, 43 days to go from 1 to 2 million, 28 more days to add another million. And Anderson, we've gone from 3 to 4 million in only 15 days.
Wow. Oh, that. Right. Look, there's no question that we as a nation are in crisis. And this crisis, of course, is spiraling out of control. Masks and social distancing have become, unfortunately, political. And so the only way to get control of this is to have leaders that are intelligent, mindful, and empathetic, and are willing to do whatever it takes, even if it costs them politically, to try to beat this crisis. Or, at the very least, to have somebody who can actually remember what they're talking about.
Because China and Russia were going to dominate space, and we can't let that. And now we're going to be dominating space. They're not too happy about what we did with Air Force, but we have it. And with Space Force.
Oh, come on. Look, it's not like this is some obscure government agency that Rick Perry wanted to eliminate and then found himself control of, because, that did happen. This is Space Force. Space Force is Donald Trump's creation, which, by the way, is completely redundant, meaningless, and whose additional funding probably takes from other underfunded government programs. A lot like Donald Trump and his family. Okay, but here's the issue at hand, right? So we have a president who, at the very least, is deeply unintelligent. And worse than that, he seems to be very uninterested in the suffering of the American people during an unprecedented crisis. A man who would rather spend his time bragging about a cognitive test, as he's done on many different occasions, as a political tool against his opponent, Joe Biden, than actually do what's necessary to lead the country during this crisis. And unfortunately, the result of that is that the people who are the most vulnerable are going to end up suffering the most for it. And that is a disaster. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.